For those in the audience, I suspect we're having the same problem we've had a few times over the past couple months, where team members are trying to speak and either not coming through or only coming through to a select people. But I know Al's trying to get this resolved right now.
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me there?
Yes, sure
Yes,
can.
sure can. Cool. Had to
I'll
leave
be
and come back. Classic. How are things with you this morning, Chris?
well, your morning, my evening. Things are put it. I'm pounding coffee to keep up with you. So um,
Got some
always.
coffee here too. Bright and early in San Francisco at the moment.
Yeah, that's got to be rough. Um, what has it
Yeah,
done
just
to your normal
those.
schedule?
We just wake up early and get work done. Not too different.
Oh, no, no, I mean, like, are you 4 hours earlier than you used to be?
Roughly, yeah. East Coast, West
Okay.
Coast.
And how long did that take adjusting?
I don't think it took much. Just wake up in the morning and get the work done.
Oh,
Usually pretty
okay.
eager to get work done when we can, so not too worried.
Yeah. Do you have any update on your plans? How long you plan on being out there?
As long as it takes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a pretty good hotbed for AI right now. So if we're launching Prometheus, which we're pretty serious about, then being in San Francisco is kind of a no-brainer.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I know that a lot of different places claim to be AI hubs, but you feel this one is ground zero, at least in the US?
Yeah, it all was invented in San Francisco, so it's definitely ground zero. I don't know that there's
Okay.
anywhere else in the world that's more prominent for any of the computer science stuff. You pretty much
Nice.
can't walk down the street here without running into somebody that's in AI.
Okay. I'm starting to get it now. That seems like a pretty good use of your time then.
Yep. Yeah, I would say so. On Tuesday, we had a talk at the Internet Archive, which is one of our now growing parts of the ecosystem. I've always wanted to help them out, and they have a community called the D-Web. And so we gave a talk, or I gave a talk rather, on behalf of Koii on Tuesday. And the title of the talk was Guerrilla Tactics for the Peer-to-Peer Revolution. And we got a lot of really good feedback on that. The vast majority of them seem extremely excited about peer-to-peer computing, which we distinguish from edge computing, where edge computing is kind of a lot of people recruiting compute capacity for the service of some kind of central entity, whereas the peer-to-peer computing, which has always been the goal, hasn't quite taken off. And I think we got the feedback that Koi is probably the only platform that really accomplishes that goal, which is really exciting. Definitely a lot of people there that were really keen.
So if you had to pick one, what do you think the reason is it hasn't taken off? Is it trust? Is it tech? Is it just getting momentum?
There hasn't really been a political demand for peer-to-peer over the last few years. It's started to grow recently, but it's something that the vast majority of people are very happy with whatever internet they're currently using, right? Or whatever apps they're currently using. And I think what we're seeing, especially out here, is a very significant shift towards peer-to-peer as, if not a default, then at least a backup plan that people want to see very secure.
Well, what's driving that shift, though? We're in a kind of tumultuous time right now. Is it tech driven? Is it society driven? Politically driven?
Yeah, I think the takeover of most democracies by large oligarchic forces seems to be the key determinant. I think most countries around the world right now have some kind of a dictatorship in place or coming together. So there's a lot of people that are very worried about that and want to see alternatives. Um, it doesn't hurt that the kind of technocracy and a lot of the big tech companies are very much aligned with politics now. So most people that we're talking to out here either work at one of these big tech companies or used to work at one, and they're pretty convinced that this is not the path towards a good future. So
Yeah, there's
most of the folks are pretty excited.
there's been a lot of attrition in the tech industry over the past 5 years, hasn't there? A lot of big names leaving and forming their own independent spin-ups, um, which which kind of has me heartened. You know, you sometimes fall. I sometimes fall into the mindset of all of these like man on the street interviews, so to say, where people seem completely oblivious as to where humanity is going, and then I talk to you and hear that well, there is a zeitgeist out there that I'm just maybe not as keyed into. So it's uh it's good to hear.
Yep, there's definitely a zeitgeist for sure. I want to drop into the demos. Can we get Soma and Tehong to say a quick hello? Are you guys there?
Hey guys, me again.
Hey, Soma.
Uh, I can
Sorry.
share the demo first.
Sure. Yeah, I would love to see it.
Okay, let me share my screen. Mm, I have two demos today. So one is for the task extension helper update. Another one is a task builder 2. Okay, firstly, in next update, will you open the extension helper? Oops, wait a second. So in the pop-up page, you can see we add more items here. We have Twitter coming soon, we have the Grow coming soon, and we have the Gemini API key live. So let me show it quickly. So for the Gemini API key, it might be the very startup API startup AI API you can use. So it's gonna be very easy for task developer wanna build a Koii task. Okay. And if you have this small window pop up, just select any project. Hit on it, and you are all set. Back,
And I'll
click
just
OK.
clarify here. The reason we're adding Gemini is to support projects like Prometheus that need AI capabilities, but luckily Gemini is basically free. And so if you have a Gmail, now you can get AI capabilities on your computer and upgrade your Koii node.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty easy.
And back to the window, you can see your Gemini API key is here. And
Yeah,
also,
it adds the
and
environment variable right away.
right away, yes. Right away.
Great. And do you know if there's
And
any coming
yep.
that'll be using the Gemini API key?
Sorry, pardon me?
Do you know about any tasks coming up that will be using the Gemini API key?
For now, I know there's one AI task coming soon using the Gemini API key. But with this tool, I believe more developers can work on this.
So people will be able to make a little bit more with their Koii node, just with
Yes,
connect.
yes.
That was such
And
a good demo. I almost didn't see it happen. Very fast. I
mhm,
guess that's the big improvement, right?
it
We're
only
showing.
takes 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds to connect an API key is pretty awesome. That used to take about 5 minutes or 10 minutes if you didn't find the right buttons.
It is, yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, and another stuff. So you probably now want to build more tasks, and we deployed the new easy sample task. Here it is. So if you go to add task, you can see there's an easy sample task. This one, this task do not issue any rewards. It's a very helpful tool to guide you how to create a Koii task step by step. We have 8 lessons here, and each lessons include what's the task flow, what does each part do, how to build your like submission part, audit part, distribution part, and with this easy sample task, you do not need to deploy a task to test your task. Is that working or something? With this easy sample task, you just run it. You just run this task, and in your task template, just run yarn product debug, and it will cover the code. And this one is easy sample task, gonna be your task running on desktop node, and you can test your whole task flow. So which means you do not need to spend some token to test if my job working or something. It makes your coding flow really, how to say, fluently.
Very smooth.
Fluently? Yeah.
Fluid, yeah, definitely. Awesome. Great improvements. I'm sure that the developer audience will really appreciate the improvements to the Easy Sandbox. I know that we've got a lot of great news coming there. For anybody that didn't catch it this week, we had a town hall with Lou Kerner, who's the owner and founder of Crypto Mondays, which is one of the biggest Web3 communities in the world. They're really interested in using Koii as a platform and potentially white labeling the Koii node for their community, which means that they'll be adding a whole bunch of new tasks. And we've met a number of ecosystems that are now doing this. So this kind of developer improvements really make a big difference. Nice work, Soma. Not seeing any questions in the chat here, so we can probably keep moving along. I see a bunch of people saying awesome work, so great work, Soma. Taehong, do you want to show what you've been working on? I know there's a lot of updates on the Prometheus side.
Yeah, of course. So for people who don't know about me, I'm a developer working on Prometheus website. So let me share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, got you
Yes.
over here.
Yep. So we have a UI update on the Prometheus bounties page. So this is our new AI. So for people who don't know about the past UI design, this was the past UI design. From this one, we improved more like streamline and more clean UI.
Looks
And
awesome.
we also, yeah. So also we updated this status, so you guys can see different from here too. So it was previously in progress, now called activating, and this one. And we also added this navigation bar, so for easier navigation. If we go to create bounty, so you guys just can go to like see all bounties, create bounty easily like this. Yeah, so here and a little bit of animation here and here. And yeah, for today's demo, that's what I want to show you guys.
Looking really good.
Yeah,
And yeah, behind the scenes here, there's a whole bunch of additional work to track all the nodes and make them act like a SaaS service. But I think we're getting really close to that, where it feels like a true Web 2 experience now.
And we have more updates next week, so stay tuned, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's a lot more coming out. There most likely will be the feature builder coming out next week, in addition to the existing documentation and bug finding options in Prometheus. We are seeing now as well with Prometheus, a whole bunch of new bounties coming in. I'm not sure if anybody saw it on the screen there, but there's now quite a number of bounties coming in from ecosystem partners and folks that are trying out the product. And it seems like now we have a pretty sizable number of direct customers coming. So that's pretty cool. Chris, any questions about the demos?
I actually have a question about what you just said. So the community is always looking for ways to help. If you have ecosystem partners with bounties trying out Koii, do you have a process in place, or I don't know if it defeats the philosophical purpose to do this, but to kind of let the community know what they should be prioritizing in order to give this potential partner the feedback and traction they need?
Yeah, so it's just Prometheus. So on the Prometheus task, you'll now be working for any of the people who come and post a bounty on the Prometheus website. So when somebody creates a bounty on the Prometheus website, then that gets distributed to you as a Prometheus node operator. So there's nothing that anybody needs to do. Actually, the whole point is that you just run the Prometheus
I
task,
see.
and then you'll be doing the work.
I see. So the user never has to prioritize.
Yeah, there's not much to do on the node side. It just means that we have stable returns in USDT and USDC getting added to the node. And so in addition to the Koii token rewards for the Prometheus task, we expect there will soon be stablecoin payouts coming out. It's a little bit tricky to rig up some of those pieces, but at least what's happening on the back-end side is we now have a bridge from the website straight through to allowing people to actually run the node and having all those payments come directly through.
Nice.
It is Good Friday in Canada as well, so it's a stat holiday, so we are without Laura and Herman today, but they've been working really hard on the back-end side of Prometheus and making sure that that's actually executing really good code on GitHub. I was going to try to share my screen, but for some reason, Discord seems to have an issue with it again. I think the key thing that I'd like to share, though, is mostly that the Prometheus task and structure has been iterating pretty aggressively on a weekly basis. So compared to last week, we're now quite a bit more efficient in how we use API credits. And so people who've been using Anthropic will see that their costs are going to go down on their Anthropic API, but the rewards should be going up. And so there's pretty significant advancements being made there. And every week that we make the technology better, we're seeing a significant improvement. The big thing of what Tehong just showed, though, is actually being able to see on the front end what's going on behind the scenes. And so with all these different nodes working, it can be hard to track them. But this week, we actually were able to link all that up to the front end. And now we have the ability to actually see all the different nodes and the status of the project. Because what happens with Prometheus is you make a payment, and then there's a whole bunch of nodes on the back end that have to go and do the work. And now with the new updates, we're able to actually track all the individual nodes and what they're working on. We'll hopefully be visualizing a lot of that next week as well.
And I guess that was my second comment. I'm just constantly amazed that with something as big a scope and intricate as Prometheus, that you even have weekly updates. Like I would expect the update schedule to be every month or two. So having weekly updates is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to make updates just about every day, actually. So pretty well every day we're changing something, improving something. I had a mentor once tell me that the real value of a business is created by all the little things that you change that nobody ever notices. So we're very much on that user experience flow. We're also embarking on a pretty significant growth campaign for Prometheus in the next couple of weeks. So getting all these little bugs changed and improvements made is that's pretty much the key to making it all work better.
Nice. Now, just for again from an outsider perspective, I have no idea how hard it is to internally test something of this scope. Is that a challenge? Because obviously you don't want to roll it out live with a bunch of bugs, but you're dealing with something so complicated that you need kind of a big pool of testers, right? So how do you balance that?
Well, we have the nodes online, so we're paying out to the node operators for letting us use their devices, and then what we're doing is rolling out the updates every week. So if you see updates on that Prometheus task, that's how we're actually getting the latest code out to everybody. We also, in parallel, are doing a lot of testing on our own. So if you look at Laura's GitHub account, for example, there's about like 2 or 3 dozen pull requests every couple hours. And those are basically getting created by her Koii node. So we do a lot of our own internal testing, and then once something is working well enough, then we roll it out to the community.
Okay. So this isn't, do you run into the same like hardware compatibility difficulties that like game developers might?
A little bit, but the Koii node takes care of most of that. So the Koii node is a general container for everything. And typically the Prometheus task itself is pretty cross-compatible because the Koii node is so cross-compatible.
Okay. Yeah.
That's sort of the whole point of having the node, is that it standardizes all these things across all the different products.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems to be going pretty well. For those folks that have been running the Prometheus task, we appreciate you waiting with us. There'll be some more airdrops to support you and make sure that you've got enough tokens to cover things. Obviously, the Koii token is still not performing as well as it could be, but that's starting to turn around, I think. We're starting to see a lot of buy pressure coming into the chart. It's just a little bit hard to it's hard to move the price when the market is kind of going sideways as a whole. But I think we're really working very hard behind the scenes to position the brand and make sure that everybody understands what's going on. And I think what we've seen so far is that there's considerable interest in the token. There's a lot of people from the retail audience coming in. We just have to make up for the KOLs and anybody who's selling off tokens. It's unfortunately what it always looks like when you do a token launch. There's a period of time that you have to survive through, during which the token gets sold into, and then we start to see the buy pressure come back. But we've definitely seen
Well,
a few
and
of
then,
those moves lately. If you're looking at the chart, there's a couple big waves where it pushes the price up, and then we get some early holder who sells into it, and then it comes back. So it seems like we're starting to shake out some of those loose hands.
and as you referenced briefly earlier, this is a really strange time to be doing business. So, uh, can expect probably some non-standard market behavior.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help that the president is trying to front run the market. So that's
Yeah.
yeah. We're working through that though, and I think that the ecosystem is still strong. The tech is really exactly what a lot of people are looking for. So we're seeing some improvements there, and things seem to be progressing towards a balanced place.
Well, and you're doing what every successful company needs to do when you run into something you can't directly control, you just hunker down and build. So,
Yep, that's
yeah,
exactly the way. I would say that on that side, the team has never been stronger. The amount of work getting done every week is incredible lately.
great.
I'm not seeing
So,
any questions in the chat. If anybody's listening and they have questions about any of this, we'd love to have them. I don't see. Oh, I see one from Marengo. Can we please get an update on the pen task? The overall thing here, guys, is like the point of having all these different tasks is that they come from different publishers. So the Pentagon Games team is the publisher of their task, and it's up to them to set it up and configure it. If you're not enjoying it or it's not working for you, you don't have to run the task. The whole idea is that it's an open market, so we don't control those tasks and we don't force people to change their behavior. That being said, I do have a call with someone from Pentagon Games later today, so hopefully we'll be able to kind of get them on track. But yeah, we don't control these systems. We built the entire system deliberately to be decentralized. So the community and especially the developers who've been working on that are the ones that are in control. We do have DEX listings planned for probably early May at this point. We're going to be timing that with the release of Crypto Nights, and there's quite a lot growing there. I think also on the marketing side and roadmap side, we've been showing off Prometheus quite a bit. I would say that that's probably the main direction. That one's from Son of God 3427. Things are certainly moving there, though.
did it take you a while to get your messaging right? Being as you have two complementary but different products, or do they just integrate pretty naturally together?
I wouldn't say so. I think like Prometheus is its own product on top of Koii. It accepts Koii tokens as payment, so that's the main reason that it exists. And we, as the team, just wanted to see it online so that we can use it to build things.
Gotcha. I just know how complicated it is to try to explain a product and you've got two great products to explain in one conversation. So that it occurred to me that that might be tricky.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad.
Good.
Most people find it pretty intuitive, I think, using all the nodes to write code. It's a
Great.
pretty simple concept. The roadmap that is on the Koii website is a little bit behind schedule, I guess. The main thing that we're offering though is the ability to continue building on top of Koii, and that has been the focus for a long time. The key thing with Prometheus is it makes it considerably easier to launch new products on top of Koii. So there's not too much to the roadmap, right? The key to the roadmap was getting the network online, getting the compute roadmap up, and then now the main thing is just getting Koii integrated into more places. For those that haven't been listening to them, our Twitter Spaces have been covering this, and we post the links to the Twitter Spaces when they go out. So they're posted on here in Discord and on Telegram, and it's been pretty smooth so far.
So to address the Easter thing, even those of us who don't necessarily observe are impacted by this as most people around us do. So I suspect that's why you don't have questions or particularly large audience this week.
Yeah, probably a bit of that as well. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their long weekend.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing too many more questions popping up here, so we can probably wrap things up pretty soon here. I see the smart task is apparently also not paying. Vuk, if that's the case, it would definitely help to have you open a ticket so that we can get the logs from you. I'm just going to send a DM there. And we also have a space with Octo later on today as well. So that one will be happening in about an hour and a half. Octo is a really huge network from India with about 20 million wallets created. So we're going to be doing some integrations there and then providing some compute for them.
Very nice.
So a lot more there.
Do you ever update like some master list where people can take a look at all of your secured partnerships?
I mean, we post them all on X, and usually they're posted here as well, so people can hear about it from that. Try not to think of the partnerships as a trophy case, more so like, we're just here to try and give them a platform to share their ideas and get them out in front of the community. I suppose we can start putting all their logos on our website, but that feels a little it's a little bit shilly.
I don't know. I kind of feel it's inspiring, especially when you're on the website and you see one that's near and dear to you. You know.
Yeah, I suppose so. I wanted to quickly showcase Vuk's profile, actually, because I just saw a question from him, and I was using your profile the other day, Vuk, as an example when we were talking to somebody of what a Koii node looks like when it takes over GitHub. So I'll drop this in the chat here. Vuk is now a rockstar dev, which is pretty cool. I think you actually have better GitHub contributions per day than I have lately. Pretty cool. Obviously, these are all coming from the node and written from Prometheus, but it's pretty cool to see your profile lighting up like that. Definitely pretty awesome. This is the kind of thing that starts to really turn heads. The level of GitHub contribution from Vuk there, that little the green thing in the bottom right corner of the picture that I just posted, that's his activity graph, which is usually how we identify good developers on GitHub. And if you look at Soma's profile, where Soma's actually been writing code all day, you'll see that Soma also has a very similar graph, which is green every day of the week except the weekends. And it's pretty cool to see that the nodes are now doing the same level of activity that actual people writing code do. And so it's pretty awesome to see.
That is.
Cool. Not seeing too many more questions, so I think we can probably start wrapping up here. Thanks everybody for listening, and stay tuned for the happy hour Twitter space later today with Octo. We'll be around on Twitter probably a little bit more actively because that seems to be really good at helping things. So if you're sitting in here on Discord and wondering where everybody is, come on over to Twitter and get involved in those Twitter spaces. Always happy to have you.
Thanks very much. I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Sure. Have a great weekend, folks, and happy Friday. Bye for now.
Bye.